Hey there, friends. Welcome to the Common Kyser Show. It's great to have you here today, like always. And today we have yet another fantastic guest with us. This guest and I, we actually both not only went to the same college, but we also went to the same high school as well. Wow, I know, lots of history apparently. We also both played soccer back together in high school. I know, believe it, it's so hard to believe. And currently, my guest is a business finance and marketing major, so get the double M there. So, and he is slated to graduate in 2021, right? Unless that changed.
That is correct.
That is correct. Okay. It's been a kind of
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, and also a very unconventional year. So I'd like to take a quick moment to introduce Drew Domer. Welcome to the show, Drew. Great to have you here.
Right, great to be here.
Fantastic. Are you ready for the warm-up?
I am.
All right, fantastic. So first question. How disappointed are you in me for forgetting to put a poll out for questions?
Is this like a scale thing, like a scale of 1 to 10?
Sure, why not?
I'll give a 3.
Oh, 3?
Not very disappointed because I don't think I'd get that many questions anyways.
I got a few like messages, but nothing like question related. So for the folks back at home that haven't listened to the show before, usually I have an Instagram account at Common Kyser. Go ahead and give me a follow. Right. And I'll put out a poll on my story for like, hey, ask questions. And I think I went through all this hassle of getting an image from Drew. You don't have many portraits of you out there.
I do not.
No, so you need to take
new phone, deleted a lot of pictures, and
pathetic. Wait, what's your new phone?
iPhone 10.
I was hoping for a Samsung Galaxy, but never mind. That's disappointing. Stupid. Anyway, so I went through all this hassle, and then I didn't even put the questions. I totally forgot. So, it's all good. I realized at like 2 a.m. last night, so it's all good. It's only the end of the world. All right, now for, I guess, the real first question. I just threw that in there. What would a mirror opposite of yourself look like?
Oh, big hard-hitting questions right away.
I know, right? Right for the balls.
Mirror opposite would probably be a very, very outgoing and talkative short dude.
The small nose.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. All right. So this is a real important question. If someone was to pin you down and fart in your face, who would you be okay with getting that from?
Is no one an option?
I don't know who this no one person is, but at least give me someone.
I gotta go with. This is a hard question. Wow. I wasn't expecting this type of like controversial topics right away.
Yeah, well, if you watch my show more,
I think it's got to be a female, and even though it's weird,
oh my God,
it'd be so much weirder for a guy. I feel like.
I mean, would it though?
I don't know. It's a weird question.
I feel like a girl would be kind of weird, but depends on the woman though.
Well, girls' tooths smell like roses, from what I've heard.
Oh no, girls, they hold them in. Girl farts are worse because they hold them in. And then when they let them out, they let them out. So girls, they act all nice and stuff. No, they're vicious. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen a cat fight before, but
I have not. But one can hope.
Yeah, the girls, they're vicious. All right, well, I'll just stick with your mom and leave it at that. All right. If you didn't have to sleep, what would you do with the extra time?
I'd get totally jacked. I'd be like...
Define jacked.
A super bodybuilder type.
Oh, you're not that already?
Oh, I don't got the time, obviously, or the endurance, or the drive to actually...
The desire.
The desire, yeah.
So would the extra time help?
Yeah, just 12 extra hours. I could put like 2 of those hours.
Bruh, you sleep for 12 hours?
8 extra hours.
Bruh, you sleep for 8 hours?
Yes, I do.
That's actually really good. Okay. What is a small thing that makes your day better?
When the Chick-fil-A line is short here at Cedarville.
Chick-fil-A, has that been like a big deal here this last year?
It has, because Chuck's, which is a normal food court, has gone very far downhill because of all this COVID restrictions, and it wasn't that great to begin with.
Define downhill.
Like you can no longer self-serving. Lines are super long. Like my first day here at Cedarville, I went to Chuck's, waited for almost like an hour and a half. I got 2 wheat English muffins, non-toasted. That was my supper.
That's horrible. We can touch more on that later, but that does sound horrible. Oh God. We'll touch more on that later. I do want to dive deep into that in our next segment. What were you doing the day Kobe died?
I was driving back from St. Louis with some friends.
What were you doing in St. Louis?
Just spent the weekend there sightseeing.
Was it? Okay. That was like St. Louis. I think Kobe kind of died like later April, early February. So
Yeah, this was way back when. But I remember it because we were driving back, and my buddy Mason, sitting passenger seat, goes, guys, Kobe just died. And we're like sitting there like trying to find like news articles as the news is breaking. We're like, no, this is probably just like a hoax or something. It's just like because all we could find was like one random like TMZ article that had like said like, oh, this might not actually be legit. It's like it literally said that in the article.
And then everybody's quoting TMZ saying, well, TMZ said this. So then whenever the lawsuits start coming out, they can be like, well, TMZ said it. Yeah, no, I do remember when that happened because it was like everybody rushed to break the story. And I think even Kobe's family members, they found out because of the news, like, oh, like, I mean, you know, not that there's a good way to break the news, but, you know, I'd like to think there'd be some class with it. But, you know, the media, it's a vicious thing.
All class goes out the window if the media can make money.
Inserts strong opinions about media. We could talk about that if you want to. I'll go.
That about sums up my opinion on media. There's not much more there to talk about.
I'll go a few rounds.
Okay.
But yeah. All right. Oh, here we go. If you had to change your name, what would you change it to?
Andrew. Because that's what like 90% of people think my name is anyways.
It's Andrew. You just add that Ann. You know, I was kind of hoping for something else, but I mean, that makes sense. I don't know. Is Drew and Andrew technically a different name? I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I got you on a technicality there.
I don't know. Whatever. I'd say I don't write the rules to this, but actually I do, so whatever. We'll let it slide. What's your favorite drink?
Purple Gatorade these days because I cut pop recently.
Purple Gatorade?
If I hadn't cut pop, it would have been Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
I think purple Gatorade is a wise choice, at least compared to that. No offense. I don't know, like, I feel like if people have a strange pop addiction where they're like, I love this certain pop, not soda, it's usually Mountain Dew. I don't know why, but
it's because it gives you that like energy kick like coffee does, and that's how people get hooked on coffee. At least that's what I think, because coffee tastes awful in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not a big coffee drinker. Give me a hot chocolate or a, you know, cup of diarrhea. Don't give me that garbage. All right. So you're a business major, so I'm curious to see how this goes. Sell me this pen.
It's my pen, so I guess I could sell it to you. Well, it's a rare pen. So he's got Perry's ice cream.
Is it rare?
Well, have you ever heard of Perry's ice cream?
Yeah, well.
I've never heard of Perry's ice cream. I don't even know how I got this pen.
I don't know. I think you're confusing. So there's people in the window looking in like, what the heck are they doing? I mean, I think you confuse lack of quantity with value.
True, but I mean, pennies have a 1 cent value, and rare pennies can go for like millions. So you never know. The trend might kick to pens. You could have it for $2, and who knows? One day the trend might kick over to pens, and it'd be worth $700. Like, just think of those like gains you could get on that.
Those capital gains.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'm
also,
not interested.
you know it works well because you're already using it. So
that's true. I did use it. Okay.
Yeah. Not a taker?
I don't know. I don't really need it anymore, so. Or do I?
You're never going to need a pen again.
I'll just go grab one from over there. What's, I mean, I guess it's special, but.
It's convenience. Like, convenience. Also that grip right there.
The grip.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like, that's like a G2 Pilot type grip. Like, that's a nice grip.
Gotcha. So how much you selling it for?
$2.
I'll give you a Jolly Rancher.
2 Jolly Ranchers, and we got
take all of them. I got a few in my pocket too.
All right,
I got all these.
5 Jolly Ranchers. I will actually take that deal because I've got plenty of pens. Ooh,
Yeah.
I want a blue one though.
Blue one.
Trade
All
you
right.
a purple for a blue.
There you go.
That's
These are my
economics at work, people.
what economics?
Just economics
in
general.
All right. Well, now I want this. Now I get to keep it, don't I?
You do. It's your Perry's ice cream.
Perry's. Wow. Normally it's like I feel like I have to give stuff to people, but thank you. That's how you get a pen, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it was okay. People don't like to be sold things; they like to buy things. So I got to buy this pen from you. So thank you. I don't know. It's hard. I don't know if you've ever gotten that one in a job interview. Or
I've never had like a business job interview.
Oh.
My job interviews have been like for a farmer's market. That's pretty much like, oh, you get decent grades and you look like you're strong enough to lift the boxes. You've got the job.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was a friend of my dad, so he's pretty much like, yeah, the job's yours if you want it.
Yep. That makes sense. Yeah, I've never gotten to sell me this pen, but I applied for a sales job once and had to sell shoes. I did not get the job. I guess I needed to ask more questions or look more for what the customer was needing or something. I guess I jumped the gun or something. I was like, whatever. Better luck next time. But if I'd have gotten that job, I wouldn't have had my current job, so I'm not too upset. But anyway, all right. I just was curious to see how that went. That actually went better than I thought it was going to, not going to lie. It's like
I got Jolly Ranchers, so I'm happy with it. I feel accomplished.
You should be happy. What stat for your life would you most like to see?
What stat?
Yeah, like a statistic like miles walked, Baja Blast drank. I don't know. Like, what's a statistic that from your life you'd like to see?
I don't know.
Don't hurt yourself.
I'm about to. I was thinking like I could go really deep with it and do like individual saved, but yeah, I'll just do that one. Just like 2.
2?
Like preferably more, but if I get like 2 by the end of my life, I like okay.
Like
double me.
2 obtain or 2 already?
Oh, like no, like individuals that like I helped bring to Christ, like 2.
Already? Or want to get 2?
Want to get 2. I've got a couple in the works, but I'm not a huge people person. So 2 for me might even be a bit of a stretch.
That's okay. At least you got 2. I think I got 0, so I don't know. I don't know if I need to reach out to others more or not be such a scumbag. Oh well. Okay. What is something that a ton of people are obsessed with, but you just don't get the point of?
Well, we talked about this earlier, but coffee.
Yes,
I feel like that's like the biggest hoax ever. People are just convinced that it tastes good because of peer pressure, when really it's just awful.
Yes, I agree. Well, and there's those people. Actually, I mean, honestly, like black coffee, just straight up coffee, like you might as well just take a dog turd and grind it up and be like, and it's like, okay. I still respect it. Like, I'll drink it, but it's not my favorite. If you start putting the fun stuff in there, I like it. But also, yeah, I think anytime anybody's like, I have to have my coffee, I'm like, ugh, I already dislike you. Just kidding, audience. I'm sure some of you are great people if you like coffee. I don't mean to alienate my audience. Okay. Who inspires you to be better?
I do that a lot when I'm thinking. So if you hear that noise, that's me popping my lips.
All right.
I'd say my dad.
Yay, dad. Solid choice. Most immature thing you do?
Most immature thing I do? Well, we talked about this earlier, but every time I pass my friend Dawson Block on the street, I go, "What the frick, Dawson?" Say it pretty loudly just to try to annoy him. So that's pretty immature.
Does it work?
Sometimes. Sometimes he says it back when he's in a good mood. Sometimes he annoys him. So, yeah. I'm happy either way.
He's got thin skin. You got to keep pushing and beat him up and all that. All right. Next question. What skill would you like to master?
Well, I'm currently trying to learn guitar. My sister taught me some during quarantine, and I'm enjoying it so far. So that'd be fun to get good at. I'm never going to like master it as I'm like a concert guitarist, but just for a fun hobby would be good.
You don't know
nice
that.
to play.
Could be like, or have you ever played The Last of Us Part 2?
No.
Did you even play video games?
No.
Oh
I
my
don't have.
gosh.
I played some, but I don't have a console anymore, so I haven't played games in
What
almost a year.
didn't you like
really.
play Fortnite or something?
Yeah, I used to play some Fortnite.
And then you decided to like women now. No offense. Just kidding.
No, actually, my Xbox kind of got stolen. So.
What? How? What?
All right, well, it broke. There was this whole thing where Cedarville was like restricting Xbox traffic because it was using too much of like the bandwidth.
Oh.
So what happened was like I would try to connect to Xbox Live and Cedarville would like shut it down, and that ended up leaving problems with my Xbox. So like me and some engineers in my hall were able to fix it, but shortly after like we got sent home for like quarantine because of COVID, it started having the problem again. So I brought it to a cell phone repair shop, and right when I was supposed to go pick it up, like I go to pick it up and there's just a sign on the door, closed for COVID, call this number. Call the number, and the guy's just like, oh yeah, no, we haven't fixed it. I'll
Send it over and you never got it back.
Yeah, it was just like, I paid $80 to
They're
get
the
it fixed.
worst. I'd be. I'm pissed for you. I'm so mad. Like
Yeah,
that didn't even happen to me.
I got my $80 back from disputing the charges because I never got the console back. But yeah, the guy just ended up just closing the shop in general and just skipping town with everybody's equipment. I'm pretty sure he got like a bunch of cell phones and stuff too. So
That's ridiculous. I'm so mad for you.
it's okay. It's probably for the best.
No, it's not. That's annoying.
It was boring during quarantine with no Xbox, but I don't miss it anymore when I've got other stuff to do.
This is the things we need to do. So first of all, Cedarville, they limited your Xbox. So that is what initially caused it, right?
That is my belief. Like I can't confirm that, but I'm like it started being like a load up error, and I'm pretty sure it's because like I'd try to connect to Xbox Live and it'd get blocked, and that would just cause something in the software to mess up.
Oh, that's such bullcrap. I'm so pissed for you. What about PlayStation? Did they mess with PlayStation?
They didn't mess with PlayStation.
Yes, PlayStation for the win. But still, like, you got an Xbox. It's not your fault that, like, the internet, they're, like, screwing your system. So this is what we do. First of all, pursue legal action. Then second of all, that guy who stole your Xbox. I have two choices. I can get my Glock and we can put a few rounds in him, or go get my samurai sword and just shove it up his for doing that. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, I think the second might be cruel and unusual, so let's go with the Glock one.
Yeah, I don't want to do that to my sword. You're right. That is so ridiculous. I'm so mad for you right now. All right, let's change the subject before I start saying other things I shouldn't.
I got some Xbox stuff, like a controller and a headset, and no Xbox if you want to buy any of that stuff.
No, I don't need it. Well, maybe I'll look at it later. Maybe I'll give you a few
Special
Jolly.
Edition.
I got a few more Jolly Ranchers. All right, two more questions, then we're done with the warm up. Did OJ do it?
I've never looked too deeply into the case, but I would say there's a good chance.
There's a good chance.
Like it's not they couldn't prove it beyond reasonable doubt, so I think him getting off was the right call, but just because they couldn't definitively prove it doesn't mean he didn't do it.
So he did it.
Probably.
Fair enough. All right. Final question. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
I'm not complimented very often.
Oh, shut up. Just what's the best compliment you've ever received?
One of my managers back when I worked at Byler's said, Drew, when they first hired you, I really didn't want them to because you're a high school kid and those typically don't work out well, and you've got soccer and stuff going on, so your availability was rough. But you're a really hard worker, and I'm glad they hired you. So. Oh,
yay! That's actually very nice of him.
All right. Her, but yeah, Heidi.
Don't assume. That'll teach me to assume as well. All right. Well, thank you, Drew. It's been a nice discussion so far. We'll be back in a few moments after a brief mention of our sponsor to hear more about Drew Domer.
Richard Head here with another amazing product. With all this coronavirus that's infecting our country, we've discovered a cure, COVID-X. With our patented blend of herbs, spices, and dish detergent, it's guaranteed to cure not only coronavirus, but COVID-19 as well. Watch as COVID-X cures my own personal case of COVID-19. Cough, cough. Never felt better. But wait, there's more. Order within the next 90 minutes, and you get a free case of Covich absolutely free.
Warning, side effects may include but are not limited to vomiting, increased sickness, dying, and worst of all, everyone knowing you're an idiot for drinking toilet bowl cleaner. COVID-X is not for everyone, or really anyone when you think about it. Call your doctor if you are actually considering taking this product, and when we say doctor, we mean psychiatrist. Don't take COVID-X if you actually have coronavirus, COVID-19, or any other disease. All right, welcome back, everybody. It's great having you here so far. Drew, thank you for being here with me today, or vice versa, whatever. I kind of wanted to start off with this. During our warm-up, we talked a bit about Chucks and how they're closed down, all that. I guess I just kind of wanted to start off with this question. Beginning of the college semester, what's going on here? So Drew here is a student at Cedarville University. He's basically a college student, so he's kind of going through some of this stuff right now. I'm curious, so, like, how different is it?
It's different. I would almost say very different, but it's still the same. Like, we do the same things, but everything we do is different, if that makes sense.
So the way you go about doing
Yes.
things is different? How
Yeah.
so?
Just like, okay, one of the examples from today that I had to pick up a package, but instead of just like getting the email, oh, your package is ready for pickup and going to get it, I had to schedule a time. And so I had to like schedule a time between like 5 and 5:30 where I was going to go and pick up the package because they don't want like lines forming really.
That's fair. How's flow of traffic for just in and out of buildings, just in general?
Probably a little bit less than what it normally is, especially with like the student center, because it used to be like the Chuck's Rush, but now Chick-fil-A is popular and almost as big. So you get the Chuck's Rush where like the people rush into the food court is a lot more spread out. So that slims down the crowds quite a bit. But I'd say as far as like classes letting out and like getting into buildings and swapping between like classrooms, it's about the same.
Gotcha. Well, didn't you say it took an hour to get like an English muffin or something?
Yeah, that was actually the day I moved in, and it's gotten better since then. But what pretty much happened was, like, they only let certain amount of people into Chuck's because they don't want like the crowd in there to be too big. So instead of having everyone in there, they just have like a bunch of people in there and then a bunch of people in a giant line outside.
Okay. Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once I finally got into Chuck's, I'm like, I'm super hungry. I'm just going to go to where the shortest line is, and that was the breakfast bar.
Gotcha. So it took you an hour to get into Chuck's.
It took me like probably like 40 minutes to get in, and then I was in the breakfast line for another 20 minutes. But that was like the shortest line out of like breakfast, habanero, home cooking, the sub line, the pizza line.
Wow.
And I was just hungry, so I'm like, that's the shortest line. That's where I'm going. So I get up there, and I'm like, can I get some bagels? And nope, we're out of bagels. I'm like, can I get this cereal? Like, no, we're out of that. And eventually it's like I could have a couple cereals that I'm not too fond of, or I could get some wheat English muffins. So I got those thinking I'd be able to like toast them and butter them up, but they didn't have like the toaster. They do now, but at the time, like, they didn't have like the toaster set up. So I just ate some plain wheat English muffins.
It's tempting because, like, I'm here on campus right now. It's, like, tempting to want to, like, go and see for myself to an extent just because it's, like, I think of, like, my own work environment, how different it is because of it all. And it's, like, I'm curious how, like, different it is. But, yeah, just hearing from you, I'm like, is the Chick-fil-A as bad as that? Or
The Chick-fil-A, the lines are always or probably worse, but the lines move so much faster.
how bad? Or
Like,
how long?
Like, the lines will be out the door, but if it's out the door, that's probably like a 25-minute wait.
I don't even know how big it is in there, so
It's probably 2/3 the size of Chuck's. So it's big.
it's and it's all for one thing, so.
They also have the tossed and pizza in there.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
Okay.
so they have 3 lines in there, but I'm not talking specifically for like the line that's for Chick-fil-A food.
Gotcha. Do they, so the lines whenever it's there, so at places like, for example, at my work, like if you're waiting in a line for HR or something, they'll have little spots where you'll stand in the spot, then go to the next spot, which is 6 feet. Next spot is 6 feet. Is the Chick-fil-A line like that?
It is, but they only have about 20 of those spots left up, and at any given point, there's normally at least like 80 people in line.
So they're just not doing a good job of.
Yeah. So and when the line's out the door, everyone just like
huddles together.
huddles in there anyways and doesn't worry about that, just so you know we don't have people standing outside.
I kind of wonder too, like with once the weather starts to get colder or a rainy day, because the weather's actually been pretty nice so far, at least the past few weeks. I mean, I think it might have rained last week.
It rained earlier today, but
it did,
not much. Right when I got back from my run, so I timed that right.
What time did you go on a run?
Like 1:30 to 2ish.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I sleep during the day, so and I'm in Columbus, so okay. Let me think what else. So like, I think they do chapel outside, right?
Once a week they'll do chapel outside. Other than that, they stream it.
They stream it. Do you have to still physically show up on certain days?
No, everything. Like if you want to just watch the stream, even when it's outside, you can do that. And then they'll do it indoors. But when they do it indoors, they only let like 500 people into the actual chapel building.
500. You know how many students are currently enrolled here right now?
Close to 5,000.
Wow. Do they have record number enrollment this year?
I haven't heard them claim that yet, so probably not.
Okay. I mean, I'd be very surprised, all things considered.
My class was like the record class,
Yes.
and then the class after mine broke that record. The class after that class broke that record. But they haven't claimed that this new freshman class broke any record yet.
Okay,
so
yeah, because my class broke the record too, and that was
that?
that was 5 years ago. So, oh gosh, that was 5 years ago. Yeah. So, I just figured every year up until this one. I mean, regardless of where the university itself is at. I mean, I don't know about you, but if this stuff broke out when I was going into college, well, I don't know if I would have come here. So, okay. So the typical classroom setup, whenever you go into class, do you have to socially distance? Is there like plexiglass? Is there anything or?
Everyone is required to wear a mask in class.
Even while the class is in session?
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, it's a pretty normal class.
What about the teacher?
The teacher will stand up and away from the class, and if he's far enough away, he'll take off his mask. I've got one professor that wears a face shield because it's the kind of a crowded classroom, but he still wants to be able to like project. So instead of a mask, he uses a face shield.
Who's that?
That is Patterson. It's my first semester having him. It's been only a couple class times, but he's a marketing prof.
Oh, you know what? I was talking to someone a few weeks ago. They got a new one. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So I was to say I have no idea who that is.
The only class that's significantly different would be my one of my marketing classes, which John Austin, Professor Austin.
My man.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's apparently more at risk because he's got like a lung thing.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So we are actually in like the biology classroom in the ENS when there's like 15 of us in like a classroom meant for like 200, and we all sit in the back and he's in the front, and he enters through a different door that we all enter through. So
wow. Does he have like a mic or something, or is he just like yelling?
He's a loud guy. He just talks.
He is a loud. He probably comes up, sits on the desk like cross-legged or something. I like him. I did the IBC and a few other things with him, so he's a good prof. So the dorm life, I think whenever I was on, well, you know, going around and stuff, you know, we had to wear masks kind of going in and out. How different is it? And you're also in the new fancy one, so I got the hype going on there. But like, I don't know. I was reading through because they sent out an email to even like alumni as well. And I was like, I'm just curious, just like sat on my computer, just kind of reading through it, or maybe it was my phone, about certain guidelines. But the dorm, I think you have to wear one in it while you're going around.
We had a dorm meeting recently where what he said, Jordan, our RD, pretty much said if you're not on the floor that you live, you should be wearing a mask. But if this is my hall, like the first floor, we're all in the same hall, so I don't have to wear a mask if I go like across the room to talk to guys.
Gotcha. But the second you leave, okay.
Like if I go up to the second floor which would be guys I don't have like contact with nearly as much, then they want me to wear a mask.
Gotcha. Okay. Do they let you go to other dorms?
Technically, I think no, but we've got a lot of people in and out, and it hasn't been a problem yet.
Gotcha. Have they had any cases break out here yet?
They've had at least one confirmed that I've heard of.
Yeah.
And all the athletes got COVID tested for their physical, so it'll be interesting to see if any of them had like just dormant like symptoms or anything. But
Have you ever been COVID tested before?
I have not. If I'm
That's-
not looking forward to.
You got a big
having
schnoz
to,
there,
yeah.
so just get this pen and. Okay. I have never been tested either, so I don't know. That's kind of weird. I was hoping you had been, or you were probably like, oh, maybe Wade has been, but neither one of us has bit the bullet yet. But I say that now. Give it a week. We'll see. Okay. What about the town? So like you got the eateries in this, the camp on campus, but is stuff even open in the town, or is that all closed too?
Well, there's not much stuff in town to begin with, so.
That's very true.
And so I honestly don't know because I haven't
Even
the
gone.
Taco Bell in Springfield is open. I'll tell you that. Just the drive.
That's all that matters.
Because we went through that the other day. But other than that, I've pretty much been on campus. So
It's hard to get off. Do they have like any curfews or anything right now, or is it more?
it's just the regular curfews that they
regular
have.
one. I love Cedarville, but that was definitely one thing that I was like, I actually I was at work and I was telling people I was from Cedarville, and they were like, wait a second, is it the school where you have to go to bed at like 10 o'clock? I was like, I mean, not quite, but you're close. No, I love this place. You kind of put up with those things because of all the other good things, at least in my opinion.
No, I'm definitely on the same page there.
Yeah. What do you think? So, let's say all this eventually blows over. What do you think is the first thing? Or actually, I do think it'll eventually blow over because life goes on. I don't know how long, but what do you think is the first thing that you'll do once you can? I don't know if you have like some in your mind where I'm like, I just want to go do this, but I can't.
Well, I mean, like the main things that people can't do right now is go to like massive parties and like bar parties and raves and stuff, and I don't do that anyways. So I honestly don't know. I'd probably sports, like play a game of pickup basketball because they're not letting us do that.
I was just about to ask. Athletic center. Do they even let you in there?
Yeah, they let you in. They were saying that you're gonna have to like schedule a time, but then they abandoned that. So I just go whenever. They want you to wear a mask unless you're like on a treadmill, and all the treadmills are like spaced out. But then they have like the hoops open, but they only say like 2 people per hoop, and you can only like shoot. You can't play like 1-on-1 or anything like that.
How good are they at enforcing stuff around here? Probably pretty good since we're starting off, but I don't know if you've even paid.
Well, I've seen basketball games going on, but then the other day we were trying to do a volleyball game, and they come and said, no, you can only do like 4v4. So it apparently depends on who's working and whether the employee actually wants to enforce stuff or not. So
there's a lot of truth to that. I guess rules are only as good as what can be enforced. Okay, I was just curious because, like from my point of view, I see things on the internet of like, oh, this is what we're doing. This is our plan. And then, well, here's the execution of said plan. What do you think it will take to get life back to normal, like it was before March?
A vaccine.
A vaccine. I'm glad you said that. I was hoping you'd say an election in November, but not going there. I'm trying to think. I want to say I heard that they're getting closer, but I mean, science takes time,
Especially since you got to like test these things to make sure they're actually safe.
Yeah. I think I heard Russia apparently developed one, but I don't know. I also saw a meme where it was like Russia's vaccine was like a syringe with Smirnoff in it. I was like,
straight vodka.
I guess. If it cures it, But yeah, I don't know. It's probably gonna take a while. I think spring of 2021. That's just me inserting my opinion. I don't know if you want to have any thoughts or anything, but
I think we're reaching hopefully like kind of where like the downhill starts, but I think it's still going to be like around, just not nearly as like I'm hoping that some of these like preventative measures will start to work and like it'll still be around, but like not nearly as like prevalent, if you get what I'm saying.
So you think we're stuck with the measures for a while?
Yeah, I think we'll be stuck with the measures for a while, but they'll begin to work and like the number of cases will drop. And then eventually we'll have like low cases for a while before a vaccine is developed. That's just a random prediction. I have nothing to base that off of though.
If you had a timeline guess of when it would be done.
year from now, year and a half from now.
I think so. Interesting. Okay. I don't know. Just like to hear people's input. Would you rather have had this outbreak during college, which, I mean, I guess you don't have a say in it, it's going on for you right now, or high school?
College. Because I feel like at high school, I'd want to be playing soccer and basketball and stuff. And in college, like, I'm sure that like sucks even more for those athletes, but I ain't one of them. So
Yeah, I from like thinking, because I was a student athlete, I was track, so I guess you could probably say half student athlete. I don't know. Track had a very generous schedule. But anyway, I would say I would pick college over high school too, because high school. The thing with high school is you have to go to high school. Yeah, you can get emancipated and like not graduate, but you're kind of like, there's kind of a negative stigma if you fail out of high school. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's people who do
you
it.
limit
like,
yourself.
Yeah.
And it becomes a whole lot harder to become successful if you drop out of high school.
Depends on your definition of success, but yeah, it's definitely harder to get your GED over your diploma. But college, like, you don't have to be here. Like, literally everyone in this college could just be like, you know what? I'm done. And like, all right, well, Thank you for your time.
I have paid too much money to quit now.
Yeah, do not.
My parents have, and
do not quit now. Finish. It's your senior year. Even if you hate your major, finish strong. There's people who like change their major like right at the end. It's like, what are you doing? Just finish.
At least finish and try the job to realize you don't like it.
I know, right? Because the job is definitely I don't know. Like they have certain projections for how the job will be like this, and then you go and do it. Like, okay, like part of that was true, part of there's more, so you got to do it.
And especially for like some of the science fields. Like I've known people who want to be like physical therapists and stuff, and they just like hate some of the classes, but they like, or like even just like athletic trainers, they hate some of the sciencey classes, but they like know like, okay, this job, I think I'd like it, even though I kind of hate the schooling that gets me there. So it's something where sometimes you just got to like push through, but for that to work, you have to have a pretty good idea what the job's going to be like though. So,
and that's the hard thing too with how our culture sets up education and then the job. Like, and not always, but I think especially for our generation, there's a big push for whenever you're young to go to college. Like, you could wait a few years. Like there's people who are older than us. Like, I'm working with someone right now that just got their bachelor's, and they're like 8 years older than me. There's nothing wrong with that. But for our generation, like, oh, you might as well go and get it. It's like, oh, I guess I'll do this, and never done this job before, but we'll see if we like it. So hopefully you like finance and marketing.
If not, well, I've got finance and marketing are very broad terms that I could do a lot with. So
this is why you go into business, business management for me, like it's very broad. Like you can go wherever you want. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just my plug for business majors. All the other majors, like, we don't care. Okay. So what about elementary school or junior high? That would suck. I don't know if you know any younger kids or anything.
I feel like elementary school me would have loved this because I'd just be at home playing my GameCube all day.
GameCube. Ugh.
Super Smash Bros. Melee. Those were the days.
Sure. I was more of a PS2 elementary kid, but, I respect GameCube. And then junior high was just a horrible time. Doesn't matter. COVID, no COVID.
Yeah.
Puberty.
I have a broken 360 and a stolen Xbox One, but I still have a working GameCube.
Wait, hang on a second. So earlier we talked about, stolen Xbox One like yours was, okay.
But a broken Xbox 360.
When you said stolen Xbox One, I was like, wait, what? Like the way it was worded, I was like, did you steal one? Like, I mean, good for you, whatever.
No, I didn't steal one.
Did your Xbox get the red ring of death?
No, but it doesn't read discs.
That's stupid. What do you think if you were, because you said elementary you'd like it, junior high you'd probably just be like, whatever. But, man, I don't know. I would hate it. I would hate it so much, especially online learning. I can't even learn in person. Don't put me on a Zoom call.
Online was rough when we got sent back.
Oh, yeah,
My productivity went way down, I'll be honest.
You still got
I got like
straight A's, right?
Actually, yes, but that's just because the workload also got way easier because the professors didn't want to like convert stuff to online formatting a bunch. So
that would make sense. How different do you think, because we talked a bit about high school, like, like how different do you think it would have been for you? Say, let's rewind, when I graduated 15, you graduated 17.
Yep.
Let's act like we're still there together. So fall of 14 or 13, whatever. Gosh, I know that's so weird to think. This hits then. How different do you think? Since we both played soccer, we'll focus on that. How different do you think that season would have gone?
Well, we were pretty good that season, and I think that season would have just been canceled. So
Probably. Well, they already canceled it all, didn't they? They pushed it to the spring.
I believe so.
That sucks. That sucks so much. I feel so bad for them. Well, at least we got out in time, right? I don't know. For the sake of appealing to that audience, because some people from that, I know I got a few comments from people who played soccer with us in high school. For the sake of appealing to that audience, what's a fun soccer memory you have? Let's just scrape the bottom of that barrel.
Oh, here, I'll give a couple. One of the best soccer memories was whenever we beat Central Christian. Those were always good games because those were like our rivals.
Worst.
We almost like alternated every other year, win, lose, win, lose.
I just hated Coventry and St. Thomas.
That's what I was going to get into next is one of the things I remember best was scrimmaging Coventry because that was always an interesting scrimmage because remember the guy we called Goldilocks? I forget his actual name, but you almost punched him. You knocked him down. He got red carded for trying to take me out after he already had a yellow. Like he came in, dipped shoulder. I like spun out of it, but they gave him a yellow because intent to like deck me.
Mm-hmm. That was a nasty game. Every time we played Coventry, well, even the years before, like I don't think we ever played a game against Coventry and it like didn't get hairy.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. What?
So I pretty much just said you fought this guy. Do you want to give your side of the story? Like why?
My side? Do you want me to read the article?
Oh, yeah, that article was funny.
That was terrible. Talk about fake news, but I think the article was like, it might still be in my tabs. Let me see. Because I was looking at it not that long ago because I think I was just like bored one night. And I was like, you know what, let me dig because it was in the Suburbanite. And I was like, let me see if I can find this. And I like found it. And I was like, no way. Maybe not. No, it's not on there. I don't know if I have some about California Proposition 16, the Syrian Civil War, something else. And yeah, so sorry, I don't have it up. So sorry to disappoint. But I remember it was an article that I was like, oh, well, okay. Because it was like he was working on his anger management because it was from their perspective. Like he's been working on his anger management. Then like they were playing a scrimmage. They didn't say it by name, but we all knew what they were talking about.
Yeah.
It's like then he got punched. I was like, I don't remember punching him. I think I remember taking him down and like cocked back and was ready to go.
You copped an elbow to the face and then you dragged him down with you. Yeah. And then you were leaning over him, like holding him down, cocked back, but then you didn't punch him.
Yeah, because I saw him squirming and I was like, he's too weak. I'm not gonna take pleasure in this. Then I think I offered to help him up just to add insult to injury. He's like, get away from me.
I was a freshman that year, though, so he was actually significantly bigger than me. So
yeah, it's not the size.
You were probably about the same size as him, but
maybe, I don't know.
Like when he got red carded for like lowering the shoulder, that would have like really hurt. But I spun out of it because I like saw it in the corner of my eye.
To me, it's always been it's not the size of the butthole that matters, but the crap that comes out. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's an excuse for little man syndrome, but you know, that's why you play the game. You never know. You try your luck, see if you can win or make them lose more. So yeah, that was kind of a fun time. You know, always. I'm trying. I mean, I know I definitely had my fights. I feel like you were aggressive enough to have a few interactions.
I never actually got a yellow card even.
You never got a yellow card?
I totally deserved some. This one time I just laid out some kid from Central Christian, but I don't think the ref saw it.
Yeah.
Like the whole fans, like that was an away game, so like the whole stands were screaming at the ref.
Was I there for that?
No, that would have been my senior year.
I missed that. Okay,
No, that was my
I don't
junior
remember
year
that.
because senior year we played them at home.
Legendary. Yes, I don't remember that, but who knows? There's a lot of things that happened that I don't remember. What about what's an awkward or embarrassing memory? Because I mean, you never got a yellow card, which is hard to believe. Like I figured you to get not a red card. I don't see you as red card material,
No.
but yellow card definitely.
I was always good at talking my way out of stuff.
When you talk to people on the field.
No, I'd talk to the ref.
Oh yeah, I wasn't
The
good
ref
at
would
that.
like walk. One time the ref like ran up to me, like looked like he was going for it. I'm like, we went in shoulder to shoulder. I was just bigger. That's all that happened. Like I didn't try to
good.
do it. We just collided.
I was not good at that. I'd be like, yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that was embarrassing.
No, that was you talking about my yellow cards.
You right. Well, what's crazy for me is I only got one red card in high school, and that was because I got a handball at Berlin Highland.
I remember that.
I was like, this is ridiculous. Out of all 4 years, and
Keeper was out. We were down like 2-1 or something. We
Yeah.
were losing,
yeah,
but you came in. The keeper was out. They shot it, and you just like reached out and just
Yeah.
swatted it away. Like, nope, you're ain't
Yeah.
scoring.
well, yeah, and it's just like.
You got red carded. They got a penalty kick, but then
I
they missed the penalty kick.
Yeah, and then I was out, I think, for the next game or so, which is crazy. Well, and what's funny, too, is, like, when you get a red card, I think they tell the principal because there's probably, like, there's kind of a...
When red cards are
But-
normally because you, like, punch somebody.
yeah,
so-
exactly. And Mr. K, or Kenori, our principal, came up to me in the hallway. He's like, Wade, like, I have to talk to you about it. Someone's like, uh-oh, what's up? He's like, what's this red card I hear about? And I was like, and he's like, I'm just messing with you. Like, I know it's just a handball, but he's like, that's crazy. Like, what the heck? I was like, I know, right? So, but I was like, I didn't know they told the principal, but it makes sense because, as you said, usually when you get one, it's not for a good reason. But yeah, what's an awkward, worst, embarrassing moment?
Well, I could go way back to, like, elementary school, or do you want something more recent?
If you'd like to give both, this is your opportunity to shine.
My opportunity to really be embarrassed.
I asked you your favorite compliment earlier. Now it's time to go the other side.
All right, well, elementary school, like, it was probably like 6th grade or something, but I had like this sweatshirt on. I was trying to take it off, and like, you know how when you like pull your sweatshirt over your head,
Yes,
like
okay.
the whole shirt came with it. So I'm just sitting there in the back of class shirtless, but then the teacher's like, Drew, put a shirt on, and everybody just turns around.
Oh gosh.
And I'm just sitting there frantically trying to put a shirt back on.
What grade was this
It was
again?
only like 6th grade. So.
6th grade.
But more recently, I was
Not very
playing intramural
muscular.
soccer actually like last year.
Ooh la la.
And like I was playing defense and I went to clear, like I was going shoulder to shoulder with some guy. Like he was like we were trying to win, he was trying to win the ball from me. I was going to like try to clear it upfield.
Okay.
Well, I went to like kick it and like he's shouldering me up, so like I'm falling over as I'm trying to kick it. I shank it out of bounds, like just direct line drive, nail some chick in the face. Like
Oh,
it was
no.
bad. She probably had a concussion.
That's so sad. It happens. Collateral damage. Poor woman. She probably was like, "What the heck?"
I felt so bad after that. Like it wasn't like, and it wasn't like, oh, I was falling over. It was like, no, it was. I still easily could have like kicked it forward. I just completely shanked it anyway.
Just shanked it right into her face.
Yeah, and it was like not even like normally like it was like about as hard as I could possibly kick the ball.
Mm.
Like if I got hit in the head with that ball, like I'd be down for a couple.
Mm. Maybe, I don't know.
She was a trooper though. She got back up in a couple minutes and stuck it out.
She was
Stayed in the-
probably
just
came up
stayed.
to deck you. No, they say so when it comes to pain, they say the way like guys and girls were like, at least I heard this I think it was a YouTube video. So take with a grain of salt, but like physiologically, or I guess anatomically, I don't know, anatomy and physiology, whatever. The way we're set up is like guys, we feel like, say if I was to take this and like stab you in the leg with it, this pen right to your leg, the pain receptors would be more isolated to that area, but you wouldn't feel it as much. Or like, but if I like, or let's give a better example. Like say I like bludgeoned you in the head, like it would be more like you wouldn't feel it as spread out and it wouldn't hurt as much as like with a woman. But since it's more isolated, it'd be more likely to kill you. Whereas if I bludgeoned a girl in the head, it'd be spread out more and like hurt her more, but it'd be less likely to kill her. I was like,
Have you tested this?
I have not,
That
but
is-
I
that is
heard I
good.
heard it from somewhere. I was like, because that's why they say girls like are they say that they're better at taking pain than guys because it's like they feel it more, but it's like less likely to kill them or something. I think it was like something about childbirth or something, or I don't know. But anyway, I just remember watching something about like how guys and girls take pain, and I was like, oh, interesting, because it's like because they say girls are better at taking pain than guys. I was like, okay, well, all right. What do you want from me? Okay, so Dawson texted me this question earlier because I'd suck. And I was like, well, since he texted it to me, I'll ask it. So this one's from Dawson. So I apologize to anybody else who wanted to submit a question. I just suck. But Dawson texted it to me, so he went above and beyond. So I'll give it to him. He's asking, if you were going to jump off the bridge with someone as the last activity of your life, who would you do it with? Okay.
Can I change the questions from a bridge to an airplane?
I mean, Dawson asked the question of a bridge, but he also
Yeah,
didn't
I'm changing
specify
it.
if
I'm
it was
changing
into
it on
water
Dawson.
and you would live and all that. So
Well, he did say like the last thing in your life, so I think
it's
implied
pretty
that you die.
implied, yes.
But me and my one friend Peyton, you know him.
Peyton, it's been a
Yep,
few
Peyton
years.
right now.
Yep.
Back in the day, this was probably like 7th or 8th grade, but I still remember it. We made a deal that at the end of our lives, this is how we're going to go out. Skydiving, one parachute, we fight for it midair.
Who do you think
So,
who would
so,
win? I think
I think I've got a decent shot, but Peyton's probably stronger than me, so
I say you're taller than him though, right?
yeah. So maybe my
Well,
reach will get it, you know? You never know.
I don't know.
Yeah, so to answer Dawson's question, I guess if I was jumping off a bridge to my death, it'd be with Peyton.
Has Dawson met Peyton before?
Yeah, he actually has. He came to visit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. That tells you how well I pay attention. Or was this last year?
This was like 2 years ago.
Then wow, yeah, that tells you how much I pay attention. Okay, well, good to know. Well, thank you, Peyton Ridenauer, for taking one for the team. Do you think, because this is your senior year, do you think it'll be kind of hard to find a job after all this, or do you already have the big one lined up already?
I do not.
It's okay.
And I think the fact that internship didn't work out for me this past summer will make it more difficult.
It definitely
But
doesn't help.
still pretty confident I'll be able to find something. Maybe not like right after graduation, but if I put in the effort to search, because I'm open to like moving to different areas and stuff, so I'll be able to.
What state would you move to? Just any state?
Any state I get a job in.
Hey.
If I like the job, that is.
That's okay. I was pretty much the same way. To me, after I graduated, I was like, I don't really, well, I did care because there were jobs I turned down, but it's like, I don't care where it is or really all of like all the details. I just want a job that I can sit down and say, I needed my degree for this job. And not just my degree, but my degree specifically for this job. So my pickiness cost me like, I think I got my offer in like October. So that's 5 months. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it takes time to find things. So
Yeah, see, I think my grades are good enough to where, like, even though I don't have like an internship or the relationship with like a specific company,
you'll be fine.
that I'll be able to still find something, especially since I can like widen my search to just about anywhere.
Well, and the other advantage too is you're young. I mean, I'm very young too. Like, I don't know, like especially going out in the workforce. Like, not that I felt old before then, but like for me, like interacting with college people who are younger than me, whatever. But then once you hit the workforce, for me, it's like I'm leading a team where it's like people are twice my age. So it's like, dang, I'm a baby here. Like being in a room full of managers, like I'm literally the youngest person here right now. So like you and I, we're very young. And when you're young, you have more potential, and not only potential, but a bigger company can morph you into what they want. Whereas if you're older, you have your habits, you have your ways, and it's like, oh, I don't know if I feel like breaking those habits. Whereas if you're young, it's like if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, young people can be molded very easily. So, and also you got more years ahead of you. I mean, I think I remember watching this one video on like young people. It's like, yeah, when you're in your younger 20s, like if you mess up, whatever. Now, if you were in your 30s and didn't have your stuff together, it'd be like, well, you know, but you still have a chance to get together. It's never too late to revise, but
Right.
we're young, so I don't know. Any other thoughts on that? I know I tended to rant on that, but I was like, uh-oh, this
No.
is your episode, not mine.
No, I think you summed it up quite nicely.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what's so special about finance and marketing?
Finance, just like the aspect of like stocks and kind of just the finances.
Do you have any stocks right now?
I do. I'm in a mutual fund through
Robinhood?
No,
Oh, Robinhood's good. Mutual funds through what?
Everence is a.
Did Mr. Schroll set you up?
He did.
Yes. I did not get one through Everence, but I respect Mr. Schroll. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Did you get it before March?
I've had this for over 3 years now.
Good for you, because I wish I would have invested more in March. Like watching the stocks, like everything just like went down and then just shot up. I mean, Amazon stock is at like 3,000 right now. I was like, dang. They'll probably split it here real soon though, so make it more affordable. But it's crazy. No, the stock market's definitely taking quite a hit these past few months, but it's getting better. So why specifically this school? I don't think we've ever had this chit chat before, or maybe we have. I don't know.
I don't think so. So this, what it came down to pretty much was, I wanted a Christian college and I wanted a college semi-close, like driving distance from home. But I didn't want a college like where I'm like commuting. So like Malone was out of the picture. And that seems to be a good choice because Malone is kind of struggling right now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah. So I probably had like 4 or 5 different campus visits. And out of all of those, Cedarville was the campus that I thought, oh, this is a cool campus. And then on top of that, like all like their, like the classes I sat in on seemed good. And
You remember which classes you sat in on?
it was a Bible class and just a general business class. I think it was probably like an accounting class. I don't know. I wasn't paying too much attention in the
Fair
class because it was all going over my head at the time.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, and it's very overwhelming. Wait, what other schools did you visit?
I'm trying to think of It's specific. Geneva. That's the one I was trying to think of. That's in Pennsylvania, I believe. Grove City.
That sounds about right. Yeah, Grove City. A lot of
Mount
people from
Vernon.
your class went to Grove City. Yeah, Mount Vernon.
And technically Malone, but I never really seriously considered that one. I think that was about it. I think I had a one to Akron as well. So
Akron U. There you go. Yeah, Akron. Or you didn't even try Kent State?
No.
Kent Reed, Kent Wright, Kent State. Or there's Wright State. Wright State, wrong university. Am I right? Oh, that's great. Okay, so do you really follow the financial markets a lot at all, or?
Me personally, no. We talk about them in our class. I'm normally pretty informed at least when I'm in school, not over the summer a whole lot. But
well, because GoPro, you probably keep an eye on all that, right? Now that you know what a 10K is at this point, right? Okay.
Yep, I pretty much read all of GoPro's most recent 10K. So
like, I'll give you that. I didn't.
I like 50 plus pages of fun.
That's it. Yeah, whenever I did that class, we're referring to a class called Strategic Management. It's the business capstone. Very, very good class. The Professor Sturkenberg, does a very good job of teaching it. Yeah, I don't think I ever read the entire 10K, but I browsed through it and like the Bible, I just kind of picked what I needed from it and then used as can be, right? But it's a very good class. But GoPro, they only sell the GoPros. Do they own like a bunch of other companies too, or is it just GoPro?
Just GoPro.
Okay, because my group was Stanley Black and Decker, and that was one of those like they buy up a bunch of other little companies, so that I think that made it harder or longer. Well, not harder, but like different aspects. I mean, you'll still have your work cut out for you, believe me. Well, especially how they're kind of struggling right now. So, but a lot of people are. So, do you have your strategy ready for that yet? Wing it right now. What's your strategy? This is gonna be your final presentation. What is the strategy going forward for GoPro?
Sell the company, no matter the cost. If all you can get is $10 for it, take the $10.
Sell the company.
I haven't looked that deeply into it. It's the first week of class. So
if GoPro, at least if it's the way if Starkenberg runs the class the same way that I think he's going to, I'll give you a kind of a cheater question here. If GoPro was to acquire another company that would help them get off onto their feet, so if GoPro went out, bought another company and acquired them to help them grow, what company do you think that should be?
I don't know the company name specifically, but when I was reading the 10K, one of their biggest issues right now is they third-party supplier for a lot of their camera components. And so it's like the sole supplier for these components.
Gotcha.
So acquiring that company, you could like definitely cut the cost and I guess mitigate some of that risk of like, what if they raise prices, or what if this company starts struggling and then we can't make cameras because we need these parts that they make. So
that actually, you might have just answered your question or gotten your final presentation strategy ready right there. You never know. Yeah, no, that makes sense. What vertical something? I think I remember in business there's like vertical, like monopolies and horizontal or something. I don't know if you ever went into any of those or.
I'm sure we did.
I think I remember. For some reason, Mr. Luton's class comes to mind because we talk about like Vanderbilt and all them, but also business law. Very good with Hartman. I assume you had.
I did.
Very good class. I love him. Great sense of humor too. But vertical, it's like you buy out like the supply chain of what you use to get the product, and then horizontal is like buy out other GoPro like companies. Those ones are usually considered illegal if you get too many of them.
Right.
But okay. I was just curious, got to talk business, right?
Yeah.
I do feel bad because I don't follow the stock market very well. And every time someone starts asking me about it, I'm like, I don't know. They're like, aren't you a business major? I'm like, well, I wasn't finance, and that's usually my way out. So good luck.
I don't have that way out because I was finance. So.
Yeah, you are. All right, let's wrap this thing up. So I got one final question, then we'll kind of wrap it up with, I don't know, you've seen an episode before. You know how I end these, right?
Yes.
Good, okay. Or maybe. So my final question is this. I like to call it a capstone question at times because it will sometimes embody either what I'm kind of might be looking for or what might kind of, it's just a good way to end, I think. And that is this. Will schools close down again? Will Cedarville close down? Start and end as you will.
Schools, yes. I don't think we'll get to the point where it's like government mandated that all schools close.
You don't think so?
But in like hot spots, schools will start to close.
Yeah. Few have
and
already.
Schools have already started to close. I think Notre Dame and Michigan State have sent students home already.
I didn't know that, but yeah.
So Cedarville, I don't think so.
No.
Because we seem to be kind of isolated out here in the middle of nowhere. And as far as I can tell, like we haven't had any like major like spikes in cases really at all. So
if there is, you think the school will still try to stay open?
They'll try.
Yeah. I will say from my understanding of the administration here, they seem to be the type that would want to remain open. I mean, I think they would close if it's for the protection of their students, but I think I remember hearing when things closed in March, like the administration here kind of had a no, we're not closing kind of mentality.
So on that topic a little bit, this was like chapel a couple days before we got sent home.
We're talking about March, like way back then.
Back.
So
a couple of days before we initially got sent home, before like quarantine and all that, Dr. White was up there. He's our president of Cedarville.
Hail to the chief, yes.
And he was talking about how we've got medics, we've got a good medical staff, we've got a hospital nearby, we've got an ambulance on campus, we'll be fine, we'll be monitoring this, we see no reason to close, we think this is an overreaction that schools are closing because Ohio State had closed.
Yes, they closed, yep.
The next day in chapel, he announces, well, we talked to the governor and we are sending you home.
Governor DeWine, he was like, no, we ain't having it. It's like, all right. And that's such a hard call to make, especially for a school like this one. You're small and isolated, and online learning kind of sucks.
It does.
So, I was just curious from what you've kind of analyzed so far. My conspiracy theory is that come Labor Day, I think after that it's all done. But, That's just my conspiracy theory and a bit of the reason why I was so.
All done, like as in like COVID is
Oh
kinda
no.
over? Or all
No,
done as
no.
in,
Don't,
like,
I mean, if you want to hear my theories on that, you can. My audience are gonna be like, "Oh boy," but no. I think my conspiracy theory on the schools closing is I think Labor Day weekend, a bunch of people are gonna go out and party and have a good time. I know Cedarville technically is open on Monday, which is actually very surprising because Cedarville is
Well,
like, we founded Labor Day. I was like, geez, chill out.
well, we're done after
November, yeah.
Yeah, so we're
You
done
guys don't even have fall break.
significant. Yeah, we don't even have fall break because we're ending so much earlier.
I do think that's a wise
So-
choice. So
yeah, so that's why we don't have Labor Day off, despite
Yeah.
it being a big deal in Cedarville.
mhm. I do think I still think in general, like I think a lot of people are. Because honestly, I think we're getting to the point where people are like, like we've been dealing with this a while. But my conspiracy theory is that come Labor Day, a bunch of people are gonna get it, and they're gonna freak out and be like, "We're gonna close everything again," and then
Yeah.
the schools will go. That's my conspiracy theory. I hope it's wrong, but I figured I'd spout my theories. Then my theory about COVID ending, my theory is that the election will happen regardless of who wins or loses. And after that, they'll be like, yeah, well, okay, we can go back to normal now. I still think, like, I mean, that's just me talking crap. I do think it'll be spring of 21 because looking at, like, Amazon, their corporate stay-home orders until January 8th, at least last time I checked. So I think I think they might have, I don't know if they extended it or not. I can't remember. Google, their stay-home orders until like spring of 21. Facebook stay-home corporate stay-home orders until like June of 21. So I feel like, not that the corporations have a say in the end-all be-all, but
Right.
they're I'd imagine they're
basing
looking at
that
the
off of
data.
something.
Yeah, they're looking at the data. They're like, okay, here's a good time to bring everybody back in. Like I mean, again, I don't know that, but just looking at the corporate stay-home orders, they're probably looking at some kind of projection of some sort and even for like, not even so much for the sake of COVID, but for the sake of like, here are the emergency precautions we're going to take to prevent. Because the thing is, like, COVID, vaccine or not, I mean, I do think it was a good idea to close down initially, but I think we kind of missed the boat on eradicating it without dealing with it. Just eradicating in a sense of like a few people got it, like nobody else got it. I think it's too far spread out now. Like, you close it down. Like, okay, hospitals, they were able, because when this first broke out, the biggest thing was we don't have supplies. So, but now that they have supplies, like you can go like down the street and buy a bunch of masks. But when this first happened, it was like, I remember buying I think it was like a pack of 50 masks on Amazon in February because I remember hearing like, oh, it's starting to get bad. I was like, I'll buy some anyway. It was like, I think 20, maybe $30.
Mm-hmm.
And then it didn't get to my apartment until like late March. Now you can go out and buy a bunch of them, no problem. So I definitely think the supplies have kind of increased a lot. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think your guys' semester's screwed. No, I do think Cedarville would definitely kind of like try to do what they can to not close. So, man, it's your senior year. You got to have fun, man. It's the last one. So,
It's also the busiest one is what it's looking like so far. So,
what classes you taking? Strategic
Strat,
management. Yeah.
Personal finance.
Okay.
Couple marketing classes.
You had to take tax.
No,
Oh, okay.
that's an elective.
Okay. I see. If you're taking tax with Hartman, I was like, I never took it, but I know people who did. I was like, good luck with that. Okay. All right. Let's wrap this puppy up. So, based off of today's discussion or life in general, if you have one final piece of advice you'd like to share with our audience today, whether that, again, be from our discussion or just life in general, what would it be?
I guess just in a general sense, don't get too bummed out and bogged down by the current state of stuff. Just make sure you're still communicating with people and like be safe, but don't be isolated type of thing.
Yeah, I agree. Don't get too caught up in the moment where it's like you forget things. So, yep. you want to get all religious, God's still in control, whether you're alive or dead or happy or miserable. So, yeah, sounds good to me.
Tis true.
Yep. Would you like to give any additional shout outs before we wrap this discussion up?
I'll give a shout out to my roommate for staying out of the room and working in another
Pearson.
room doing his homework. That's Pearson Knoll.
Pearson Knoll, who we've been in discussions of potentially doing an episode with, and then it just hasn't worked out. And then it was like, show up to do it one with Drew, and it's like, hey, hey Pearson, how's it going? It's like, this ain't awkward. It actually wasn't too awkward, but I just thought it was kind of funny.
Yep.
All right.
And I think that's about it.
That's about it. Sounds
Yeah.
good to me. Well, thank you, Drew Domer. It has been a fantastic discussion. Hopefully you had a good time.
Yeah.
Thank you, my beloved audience, for coming and joining in on this conversation today. And well, like always, have a nice day.